Okay, we are live. Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for clicking. So in today's video, I have a guest with me and we are going to talk about DAAD scholarships, which most of you have asked me questions about it and I have no idea. So I decided to bring a guest with me who has knowledge about it, and hopefully he's also going to talk to us about generally scholarships in Europe. So please introduce yourself.
Thank you so much for having me, first of all.
Thank you.
Yeah, so my name is Ernest Boniface Makulilo, and I go by EBM or EBM Scholars. I live right now in the US, and I came to the United States through scholarships. I came under Fulbright scholarship, which was to come to teach Swahili language in the African culture in American universities here for 1 year. Then from there, I got 2 other scholarships to pursue my master's degree here. And then I've been here in the US since. So I've been in the US for almost 13 years now. And I've dedicated most of my YouTube blogs and educating others into different paths they can use to go to different countries. But number one way I emphasize to many people is through education, and education through scholarships. Because as Africans or people from developing countries, we have good qualifications, but we do not know how to go about it. So that's why I've dedicated most of my education usual to support or help people on what can we do to find these opportunities and get them.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. So yeah, before we start, basically for this video, I wanted us to talk about the DAAD scholarships to study in Germany. But if you can start with the general scholarships in Europe, then we'll get into the DAAD scholarships in Germany.
Yes, yeah, that's a very good idea. We start with the just general or overall scholarships, especially in Europe first.
Yes.
That means if you understand, even if you want to use that knowledge to apply to another country, that will be okay. But then after that, we'll be specifically talking about the DAAD scholarships for Germany. So there are usually 5 questions I usually tell people to consider before you apply for any scholarship.
Okay.
Number 1, obviously, is the level of study. What level of study do you want to go and pursue? Do you want to do bachelor, master's, and the PhD or postdoctoral? So I have a video explaining why bachelor is very, very difficult. So on this video, we are talking more about graduate studies, master's and PhD. And
master's,
Yes, so that will be focusing on this one. So by knowing the level, it will determine the procedures of how to apply. If you want to apply master's or apply PhD, the procedures are different. So by knowing the level, you will know what path should I use. That's number 1. Number 2 is when should I go to study? Because international students are not just applying anytime they want in their life to go to study. Most of the applications, if you're applying for scholarships, you are always applying for the next academic year. So for instance, right now we are talking this video, it is in the year 2021. You are applying the year 2021 to go to study in August or September 2022. In Europe, you call autumn semester. Here we call fall semester in the United States. So for that particular case, you have to know the timeline. So if you apply for the scholarships, maybe 2 universities in Germany, and you don't get them, it means you are going to waste 2 years. Why are you going to waste 2 years? It's because from 2021 to 2022 in August, that is 1 year. You are waiting to go to study. But if you apply to fewer university, you don't get admission, you don't get a scholarship. So you have to apply 2022 to go to study in August 2023. Okay. So those are 2 years. That's why in the end, when we talk about scholarships, I usually tell people to apply as many as possible. At least the minimum 10, but usually apply 20, 30, 40, because you are not alone who is looking for scholarships.
Okay, so apply to the scholarships, more scholarship.
Yes.
Okay.
Because out of that, you'll be in so much trouble. So you have to know most of the applications start in August, going to December, most of them. So if we'll be coming to talk about the preparations specific for maybe for the test, resume, or other kind of things, you have to make sure that you have everything before you start applying. Another question I usually tell people to consider is, where do you want to go to study? And in this particular video, we'll be focusing more about Europe. So usually I have a video, usually explain US versus the rest of the world. Because if you want to go to study in Canada, there will be difference between Canada and Europe. If you want to study in the US, there will be difference between the US and Europe. But for me, I will explain more about Europe and why I encourage people to apply more in Europe than in the US when it comes to the resources you are going to put and the procedures to apply. So Europe has the better opportunities, better chances for people from developing countries. Okay. So you know for sure now the place where we'll be going to study, let's say, is Europe. Even if your dream is to go to Canada or US, go there first and then you will figure out from there. The other questions are usual people want to people to know why do you want to go to study that particular degree or to that particular country? Is your aim just to get education and come back to your country? Or is your aim is just this is a path or a way for me to go to live in the global world, other countries, get the education, see one opportunity leads to another?
Yeah.
Because if you do that way, you will be considering even the countries. We'll be talking about what the post-educational life will look like, the immigration opportunities to adjust to become permanent resident, or the languages in terms when it comes to jobs. So that will be making those kind of decision of which country is better than the other, which program or which, because let's say someone coming to study maybe the course of political science in German and someone comes to study IT, yes, but the person with IT will be likely to advance a lot if he stays in German than if someone, both you go to Africa. So you have to figure out what programs, my aim is to stay there or to come back to my home country, what program, what country, what immigration policies are there, which one favor me, all those kind of things. We need to be able to be mindful of that. And the last question is how, means we are going to the real application of this application. So if we summarize everything, let's go back to the how. So in Europe, there are things I'm going to mention, which are all Europe. They're going to do that no matter what. They will be differing from particular scholarships or particular country, just small differences. So number one, obviously, you need to have a very good results. Countries like many countries, they call GPA, general point average.
Okay.
So what is the minimum requirement? Most of the scholarships, because it's competitive, we say needed to have upper second class.
Okay.
Or B plus average, whatever, depending on the country, how you rate them. But to have good results, that's number one. I don't say I have a problem with the people with the first class. Majority of people with the first class, they think that they own this world. That is the big problem. So they assume that when I apply because I get all A's, I'll get a scholarship. No. GPA, your results is just like having a very good resume. Doesn't mean anything if you don't back up with other things I'm going to mention.
Yeah.
That's why we'll find someone with lower second gets good results, gets scholarship than someone with first class. Because it's what we do, there is what is called the whole person analysis, the whole person perspective. They're not going just to see because you have first class, that means you are smart. No. I'll come to the second part. When they're analyzing the scholarship, why do they give someone a scholarship? There will be an essay which you're supposed to write. We call it statement of purpose, or they can call it motivational statement. Why are you a perfect person to be given that scholarship? Why should they give you that scholarship? Why are you applying for that particular program? Because you are first class, and we say, my dream is to go to Canada. My dream is to go to Germany and to go to Germany, marry a German lady, and be there. If you write that on your essay, you will never be given scholarship. You will not be given the visa. Because that is not the purpose. So it's not just about your results. It's about what you need to write.
Yeah.
And you have to know that. Ask yourself, when we come to talk about DAAD, for instance, in the year 2019, they gave over 65,000 scholarships under DAAD.
Oh, wow.
Since it is started up today, they have given over 1.6 million.
Wow.
recipients. So it's a lot of scholarships. But why are they giving all these scholarships to Africans and people from Asia? Why can't they give all this money and stay in your own country, stay there? So you have to know that when you are going to explain why should you be given a scholarship, don't start explaining, you know, I used to walk barefoot to go to school, I'm orphan, I'm whatever. They don't care about those kind of stories. They want to hear, I have this kind of education background, I have this kind of work experience. With these two, now I'm working with this particular community. This is the challenge. And I know for sure I'm lacking one item or two items. And these items, that's why I want to do my master's in this particular area or my PhD in this particular area. If I do that, I'll gain 1, 2, 3, 4. And then when I finish, even if deep down you want to stay in Germany, I'll come back to my home country and I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
The betterment of my community. So whether you plan to stay, whether you don't want, there is a way to put those kind of things. So the second thing in all your application we are going to do is to write a statement of purpose. Whether they say is a law, you must go back to your home country, you have to indicate that. And not just to indicate just for the matter of indicating, you have to look like you're a person who knows what you are talking about. Then another item, the third item which is required is the English proficiency test. There are two major tests. There is test of English as foreign language, TOEFL, which is American version, and then there is International English Language Testing System, IELTS, which version you do that one under the British Council. Most of the universities in different countries, they have the testing center for the version of the TOEFL, which is American version. American version, the TOEFL is 220 or 215 US dollar, if not mistaken.
Okay.
The British version is about 310 US dollar, depending on the exchange rate of your country. Both exams, they are not there to test.
So sorry, so that's the TOEFL and then the IELTS.
Yes, you take one of those two. And they're not going to test your intelligence, because people, they think that, oh, I have masters, obviously I'll pass this exam. No, the exam is not about how smart you are, it's about how much you know the language.
Yeah.
So people should not fear about that. So just prepare yourself and make sure that you are going to take the test. Prepare yourself, whether you are in bachelor degree, master's, you do the same exam. So there is that exam. Then apart from that exam, you need also to take the you have to write a resume. There is a way to write a competitive resume. Make sure that you don't put in my tribe, date of birth, marital status, all those crazy things, avoid them. Just put it straight about how competitive you are in terms of education. And if you have master's or you have bachelor degree, why do you write your primary school education? They don't need that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't write unnecessary things. So there are so many videos about how you can write the competitive resume, those kind of things. Then from there, it comes to also like getting settlement recommendation letters. Make sure that you have good people, teachers, your professors, to write good recommendation letters. And the recommendation letters is supposed to be very, not just to whom it may concern. It has to be personalized to show that someone knows you in what capacity. So those are I can simply say those are the basic in all scholarships. Then you are going to apply for scholarships. So the difference will be, there are some of the scholarships, they say apply first to the university. Once you get admission, then we are considering for the scholarship. There are some, they say apply for scholarship. If you get a scholarship, then you go to apply for the university.
Yeah.
There are some, they say just apply for this school. If you get admission, you don't need to do a separate application. Everything will be together. We admit you, we give you the money.
Okay.
But overall, don't apply to the university if there is no any mention or any program, there is no mention that they give you money and how much. Because if they don't mention, that means you are applying as self-financing student that you are going to pay for your own. So those are the basic for any scholarships you're going to apply in Europe. Apart from the English test, which it will cost you some money, in Europe, there is no application fee. Difference from US, you have to pay application fee. Canada, you have to pay application fee. In Europe, it's just one exam, the English test, that's all. I know you can have this exemption. Oh, there are some of the universities they maturity require. Some of those you can say, oh, because I speak English, I studied in high school in English. those are, yes, I get there are waivers, there are some ways to go around. But if you are very competitive enough, don't wait for the sympathy. Because you and I, we apply to the same program. You say, let's say you are applying for that particular program. Let's say you have taken the English test. I haven't taken the English test. We have the same results. They will take you. They don't take me.
Yeah.
So you have to go make sure that you have everything on hand before you go to apply. Okay. So let's go to specifically now to the DAAD scholarships. This is the biggest scholarship in Europe and specifically owned by the government of Germany. As I said, per year, they give at least 60,000 scholarships. So it's a lot. And these scholarships are in also like they're in master's and doctorate and postdoctoral studies.
Okay.
3 of my relatives, 2 my brothers, my sister, all they did their PhD in German, and one did the PhD and then did the postdoctoral in German. So I know that, and when I was applying for different programs, I also applied some through this particular program. So with the DAAD scholarship, you don't apply direct to the DAAD scholarship per se. First, you apply their universities which are affiliated or they are partnering with DAAD.
Okay.
You have to apply to the university direct. If you apply direct to the DAAD, you don't get it because they don't forward your application to the university. No. This is different from maybe Chevening scholarship where you apply direct to the scholarship. This you apply direct to the university to get admission first. The university is going to recommend you to be given scholarship as long as you come from the countries which are eligible to get the scholarships. And almost all African countries, they are eligible countries to get scholarships. And
so you have to look at the universities that are affiliated to the DAAD scholarships.
Almost all public universities in Germany, they are there.
In Germany, okay.
Yeah, so all public universities, they are part of it.
Okay.
And then, obviously, you have to come from the countries which are eligible. Africa, almost all countries, they are there. And not all programs, they are part of sponsorship. But most of the programs, almost every program you think about it, is there. About planning, social science, pure science, almost every course. You might not just go, I'm giving an example. I want to do like basket weaving. Obviously, they're not going to give you scholarship. So there are certain courses, they are there, you have to know. And I will send you the link of this particular, the link of how to go to these particular programs, universities, wherever. I'll give you the link, then you can post on the comment.
I'll put it in the description so you guys can go there and check in my description box.
So if you apply for masters, you apply for school, you get admission, they forward your admission to the DAAD. DAAD desk is going to make the decision. If you're going to be given, you'll be given the paperwork and everything to start the application. As long as in the end, for this particular one, among other things about everything we have talked about Europe or in general, you must have at least 2 years of work experience.
Oh, okay.
And when we say work experience, I have a problem with my people in Africa. Usually we think that a paid job. Work experience is not about money. First of all, what work do you do? You can be intern somewhere. That is work experience. You can volunteer a certain place. That is work experience. But it has to be a professional work experience. Not you are engineer and you are volunteering to go to clean the orphanage center. Yes, it's a work experience, but it's not compatible to your field. So we want to qualifying work experience into the areas of your background. So it can be paid or unpaid work experience. And again, they have also a limitation. If you're applying for masters, how many years back you need supposed to be graduate? I think it's like 4 to 5 years. You cannot, maybe you finish your bachelor degree 2000 and apply for masters right now to go for DAAD. They have a limitation because obviously you'll be having 20 years of work experience. So what you can do masters and then apply for PhD and you have all the enough work experience, which will help you a lot. Yeah. So another thing apart from that is amount of money they're going to give you. If you are going for masters, obvious masters is average. Most of the masters is 2 years, but few in Germany, very, very few can finish for 1 year. You know that. So most of the programs will be maximum 2 years. And the for PhD is maximum 4 years. Like average, many people finish within 3 years, but if you go more, is 4 years. How much they pay is about 850 for master's degree on a monthly basis, and for
850 euros.
Yes, no, it's in euro, so it's almost 1,000, more than 1,000 in US dollar. And the 1,250 euro, which is nearby 1,800 or 600, whatever, depending on the exchange rate to dollar. Yeah. So PhD, they are given a little bit more on that.
Okay.
So those are, and specific when it comes to the English proficiency test here, for the usual, if you do the British version, they want you to get 6.0 minimum. But usually most of the universities in Europe, they want 6.5.
Okay.
But if you take the 12, they want to get 80 score out of 120. In the British version, they want 6 out of 9, 10. That is what they want. So I usually advise people to take the British version, even if it is a little more expensive than the 12 one. Because the 12 one, each university or program, they vary what score they want. But when you take the British version, if you get 6.5, almost all universities, even Harvard, will accept you. But
so
80, yes.
The British one is the IELTS?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And the TOEFL one is the
American version.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So if you go to their website, which is ets.org/TOEFL, you can look at the test center location in your country, and you can be able to do that. And there are so many online resources you can be able to prepare yourself. And the last thing about that, you have to know the application time and the maximum number of programs you can apply. So the application time, mostly they open in August, and most likely they end in October, depending on the university. Some they go up to November, but around all universities usually they open in October, most of the August to December. But here you have to know that most of these when they end in October or November of the applications for that particular purpose. And apart from that, to know the deadline, you apply this year to go to study in August or September, depending on the school they opening next year. So those are the things people should know about the overall the procedure to go through the DAAD scholarships. That's why I say there is a maximum number of programs you can apply. Is 3? I think 3 or 4. That's the maximum.
Okay.
But when you apply
in a particular university or different universities,
wherever you apply different universities, but in the maximum will be 3.
3. Okay.
Yes, but when you go to DAAD, when they recommend you there, so you have to rate. There will be a form to fill later, DAAD scholarship form. When you are going to be admitted, they will give you rate which program do you want to go first. In case you get 3, all of them, what is your first choice? Kind of that. But that's why I tell people. So why I ask you how many programs do you need to apply? You need to apply as many programs as possible, not just because for me, I assume that is one program. Yes, even if you apply 3 scholarships, then apply Norway, then apply Finland, apply another country, Sweden, whatever. Apply to so many programs so that you don't put all eggs in one basket. Just in case you don't get here, you get another one. Or you can get German and Canada. And then you are going to look which one is a good program, which one pays me more, which one weather, which one I can live better after school. So you can make the decision later, but if you have more options than just one particular option. So those are the overall about the scholarships in Europe and the DAAD in particular, if someone wants to know about that.
So that scholarship is not just for Germany, it's
so the DAAD scholarship.
Yeah. It's not just for Germany.
It's people to go to study in Germany only. But they have another one they call it DAAD in-country program. This one in-country. That means
in country.
That means you are given DAAD scholarship, but you study in Nigeria, in your own country. You study in Tanzania, you study in Ghana, but you'll be going maybe for 3 months in Germany for orientation. It's just like if you are doing a master's or PhD, like 2 or 3 times in your year, you'll go to Germany. And you, for instance, for PhD, they have supervisors, one in your country, another one in Germany. So those is a special program. It's called the in-country program. But those are not a lot. A lot is for you to go to Germany and do your program in Germany.
Yeah. Okay. I have another question. With that scholarships, are you required to, after your studies, are you required to go back to your country when you are done studying?
Yes. But there are 2 ways of scholarships. There are scholarships which is a law. You must go back to your home country. There are some they don't say you are expected to go back to your home country.
Okay.
For instance, while in Norway they used to have the quota scheme, it was a mandatory to go back to your home country. If you don't go, that scholarship is converted to become a loan. In the US, Fulbright, if you get Fulbright to come to America, it is part of your visa requirement on the stamp. You must go back to your home country. If you don't go, you don't get a green card, you don't get work permit, you don't work visa. So there are certain ways they restrict you down the road. So you have to go back to stay 2 years. So there are those kind of scholarships they do. Stanford, they have scholarships for Africans MBA. It's called, if you Google African MBA, you can go to Stanford. It's 150,000. It's a lot of money. But if you finish, you must go to stay in your country for 2 years. If you don't go, it's a loan. But DAAD doesn't have that requirement that if you don't go, we are going to take the money from you or something like that. In the application, you must indicate you will go back to your home country. Why are you going back to your home country? What are you going to do to benefit your community? If you decide late down the road, I got a good job, a contract with a certain company, they have no problem for you to continue to live there as long as you follow the legal procedures.
Okay. So the last question is, what happens if you are not able to complete your master's within that 2 years and you exceed to like 3 years? Are they still going to sponsor you in your 3rd year?
No.
Or they're going to... Okay.
Because, yeah, it's restricted for 2 years. You are not allowed to exceed that. But if you exceed, you can pay on your own. There is no problem. And I can add something about work, because someone can ask a question.
Okay, yeah.
I'm only getting the DAAD. Maybe I'm doing masters, almost more than $1,000 because it's 850 euro. Am I allowed to work? Yes, you're allowed to work. For one condition, you have to inform DAAD. Usually in each university, in each country, wherever in city you are, they have a contact person. You're allowed to work. But if you exceed the income of 450 euro a month, they are going to deduct a certain amount from your scholarship.
Okay.
So the best way, just do part-time. Don't go more than 450. And then you can add it with your full scholarship without being deducted. So if you, from 450, maybe you add 200, they'll take 200 from your paycheck. So why do you need to do that? So you can do just maximum 450 euro and continue, have your full amount there. And also you can be in a position also to have, Will you allow you to bring your family? Yes, you bring your family.
Okay.
But
with masters or PhD?
Even for masters.
Oh, okay.
But PhD is easier to justify because many people, they know it's a 3 years or 4 years program. So it's easier to justify. But even for masters, you can go with your family. My sister did a PhD in Bavaria, whatever, but was with her husband in German, for the entire period of time they were in German.
Okay, so if you bring in your partner, is your partner allowed to work?
I believe no. For the your partner is not allowed.
The dependent.
Even in US, you are not allowed. That's the good thing about Canada. Your spouse is allowed to work full time. Like that's the advantage. So that's why when you say when you apply so many countries, when you get all of them, you can start evaluating. So I'm married. German, they give me this amount. Canada, even if you say I'm going to pay for my school fees, in Canada, there is advantage that I work as part-time because I'm studying, my wife is full-time. So obviously we can have good income in that way. If my kids are above the age of 16, they can work too, full-time. So you have to go and look all those kind of options. Apply to as many programs as possible. Maybe I can add one thing. there are so many people, usually they want to go specifically maybe for England or Canada, US specifically, to study and pay for school fees. I usually tell people, you have to make a decision based on the realities, cost-benefit analysis. Even if your dream is to come to America, go to Canada, go first to Germany, go to Finland first, then from there, move to another one. Don't have from Enyimba, United in whatever in Nigeria, you want to go to play for Real Madrid. No. Go first of all to Glasgow, go to Aston Villa first before you go to Manchester United in Real Madrid. So that is something people want to understand. So instead of wasting your money to pay $20,000 to study in America for tuition and the fees, and then you have to pay the living expenses, why can't you go to study in Germany for the free universities? You don't pay tuition and the fees. You just cost your own cost of living. You will save over 20,000 more. You will save that money. So for me, I recommend Germany. I recommend Norway. I recommend the countries which you don't pay school fees, tuition and fees. You ended up just paying for the cost of living yourself, living expenses will be much easier. Yes, it's still expensive for the African, but it's much easier than saying I'm coming to America. If I'm the consular officer, there is no way you'll convince me you are able to pay $20,000 plus living expenses of 15,000 over 35 to 40,000 per year for 4 years. We're talking about more than 120,000 to study political science in America. No way you can convince me that. I know you want to go there and just become illegal. There is no way you can convince me that. But if it's free education, say there is no tuition and fees, I have 10,000, I can be able to do that. You see, it is easy even to convince the consular officer why are you going to that country and spending the money for the quality education.
Yeah, that was good. Thank you so much.
You are so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. I hope you guys understood everything, the general process of applying to these scholarships, and also I'm going to drop the links to the DAAD scholarships in my description box so you can check it out. So if you have any questions, just leave it in the comments below and I'll be glad to answer you, or also EBM scholars would help me answer you guys. Thank you so much. Hope to see you guys in another video. Thank you. Also, I have to mention, I forgot.
Yeah.
He has a YouTube channel. I forgot to mention this. I should have mentioned it at the beginning of the video. So if you don't know EBM Scholars, go to his channel. I'm going to leave the link to his channel in my description box. Everything you need to know about studying abroad, immigration, US lottery system. Anything at all. Yeah.
And one more thing. This book, I'll give you the link. People can download this book for free.
Okay.
It's called the PhD Scholarships for Africans in the United States. So even if you are not planning to study in the United States, the procedures are the same. The only thing will be about GRE, GMAT, whatever. So the first 20%, 30% is just procedures to apply for any scholarships. And the rest of the percent is specific scholarships in each program. If you want mathematics, music, microbiology, political science, international relations, social work, all the programs are in this book. So I'll give you the link. Nice. You can download the free PDF and don't have excuse why they don't get scholarships.
Yeah. So you send me the link. I leave it in my description. You have so many links to leave down the description box. So don't be lazy. Go there, check it out, and go for your goals. Go for whatever you want to do, and all the best in your endeavors. Thank you so much, EBM. I'll see you again.
Bye.